Hey everyone. So yes, this is a little different. I'm giving you a little disclaimer. So these episodes that are coming up are so beautiful. I was so excited to be with my friend, Miss Adrianna Smith. And while we were recording, our mics went out. And they went out even before we recognized it. Thought they had a little juice, but they didn't. So we just wanted to say, we know that happened, and I want to say it is absolutely my fault. I thought they were charged, y'all. I really did. Sorry. But great episodes. We did it all in one. So if you're watching these episodes, you will hear that throughout, but you can still hear what we're saying. So we hope you enjoy. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I told you all I had a beautiful surprise for you today, and that is in the person of my beautiful sister, Adrianna Smith. I am so happy to have her with me. You're going to be seeing her for the next 4 episodes. We have a great conversation that we just want to take our time. We have conversations all the time. All the time. Yep. And one day we were talking, and we're both entrepreneurs, and she was helping me. Y'all saw my beautiful reel that was compliments of her and content by Adrianna. Yes, absolutely. And she and I were talking about how just owning our femininity and being women in business. And I was like, oh girl, we need to do a series on the soft girl life. And she was like, oh!
Got so excited.
And it was birth. It was just birth. So that is what we are here to talk about. And so this series is entitled Soft Girl Life. And we are just going to be sharing with you some different thoughts and different topics that have come up. So you ready to get started, girl?
Let's do it.
Okay. All right. So first of all, Entrepreneurship 101.
Girl.
Okay?
Yes.
I mean, it's been a journey.
Yes.
You want to tell people how you got started a little bit?
Yes. So it's been, again, quite a journey. I believe a little before I had my oldest son, Elijah, I just started to feel like the corporate life wasn't really giving anything to me. I mean, I felt like I was growing professionally, but it just wasn't giving me the satisfaction, like a purposeful, fulfilling satisfaction. And so I think Elijah was about 3 months, and I remember the day clear. I was in my bedroom. I might have just got done changing his diaper or something along those lines. And I was just sitting there, and I feel like God, it was one of those things almost out of a movie. It was almost like a realization, you're made for more. That's what I remember hearing God say. And I had no idea what that meant. No clue. I'm like, I felt it. It was a full body feeling, like you're made for more. I heard it, and that was the moment that changed everything for me. I just started throwing myself out there, trying anything I could think of. I mean, at the time, I decided, you know what? I kind of like to sing a little bit, so let me sing in the choir. Started singing in the choir at church.
You sure did, girl.
I did.
Why did I forget about that?
I did. I even did a little mini audition with Lisa Brunson to try to sing on the front line at World Harvest.
Wow.
Yes. I just started throwing myself out there. I started to go for promotions at work, maybe ones I wasn't even qualified for. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do something and see what God says yes to.
Yeah.
So I did end up getting the promotions at work, and then I started a new fitness program. I was really inspired by the women in that community because there were some entrepreneurs in that group too that inspired me. So social media, something about social media was like this. I saw opportunity there. It made me remember back to when I got my very first iPhone back in 2011, and I'll never forget the thought I had when I got that phone. It was like, I have the world in my hands. I could reach the world by this one tiny device.
That's a good thought.
And that always stuck with me, and from that point forward, I always saw social media as a place of opportunity. So as I was embarking on this journey, I'm like, I'm going to try social media and see how it goes. And the rest is kind of history. Yeah.
Because you killing it.
I'm trying to just do what I feel God is guiding me to do.
The purpose He's put in you.
Yeah.
And I feel the same. I think, for me, I always knew that I wouldn't work for someone my entire life.
Yeah.
I wanted to be my own businesswoman. Hello.
Yeah.
I wanted to be my own businesswoman. I wanted to make sure that I was walking in that call, that push, because I always knew I was a leader of people, right? And so, but you know, you do your regular life, go to school, you get your job. You know, my family is full of 9 to 5 corporate America powerhouses, right? So it's like you just fall in line. But I knew, like, this is just not doing it for me, especially in the work I did with juvenile justice. It was like, we're not really serving people. Like, there's stuff you do, and there are good workers there, but it's like, at the end of the day, the bottom line, we'll really focus on the business and the numbers, right? And I want to focus on the people. And so I remember when I lost my dad, rest in heaven, I didn't take time off work, and it wasn't until the end of the next year, I was like, I got to take a break. And when I left, by the time I came back, I said, I know I'm done. Like, I knew it was time for me to take the leap of faith. And that money was good, okay? I was sitting real pretty, being real comfortable. But God was calling me, and I remember the day I went back to the office, I went and talked to my boss, and I said, I'm going to be leaving at the end of the year. And God knew I wanted to leave right then, but he told me no. And when I got to the end of the fiscal year, the fiscal manager said to me, thank you for staying, because most people don't know what it means when you leave in the middle of the fiscal year, and we have to pick all of that up. Thank you for closing out the year. And I was like, God, thank you, because you left well, right? I can go back to those people and speak well, and you know, they don't look at me like, you was kind of junky, you know, like, because you never know when you're going to need to go back. And I didn't want to, because I was tired. I was tired, and I was mentally exhausted grieving. Right? I was mentally spent, but I thank God that even in that, he allowed me to focus, right? And he allowed me to hear his voice, right? So that's a little bit of our journey. Now about, you know, the collaboration, right? Because I'm trying to remember, what was the first time that we worked together?
I believe it was I think you did, I do think you might have reached out, and you just said that you were trying to take things more social media route, and wondered if we could maybe just grab coffee and talk.
You know what? I think so. I think it was because we started meeting at Crimson Cut.
That's our spot.
That's our spot.
That's where we meet. That's every time.
And it's so funny because I think she would look at me sometimes like, girl, what are you talking about? And I'd be like, I don't know. I'm trying to get my thoughts together. But it was so cool because you also were trying to figure it out. You also were trying at that time, right? Like at our first initial meeting. And we bonded so much on that. Not just because my brother is her husband, honey, okay? Because I love me some Garen, and this is his lady, okay? And I remember when we in the parking lot, that was like the first time we ever chatted at church. And I said, girl, I know we don't know each other, but you my sis, I already love you.
She met me with so much love, and I'll always be thankful for that.
Girl, absolutely. And God has just blessed us with a beautiful sisterhood from there. And so being able to talk to you about business, and you like hear my crazy jumbled thoughts, because I was leaving corporate America, coming into entrepreneur world, I had no clue what that meant. Your mind is everywhere.
Oh my God.
Right? You feel so unorganized, but you were such a beautiful piece of me coming into the settlement of my thoughts, right?
Thank you. That's so sweet.
You were.
But you were helping me too. So that's the thing. It was never one-sided. It was always both, because you just said it. It's a jumbled process that entrepreneurs go through, and I feel like that's almost why we don't fit into the box of a 9 to 5. We just don't see things the same way people do. And so you have to know, others have to know, that it is collaboration that is the true powerhouse of your journey. I mean, you cannot do it by yourself, and I think that the more you try to do it by yourself, the harder you make it on yourself. I know for myself personally, for a long time, I used to be like operating from this like hyper independent space from previous traumas and things that occurred in my life, and I had to get checked. Like, no, if you want to go somewhere slow, go alone. If you want to go somewhere fast, go with other people. And I don't want to have to know it all, because I can't know it all. To be able to build something that we really want to see true success in, there's no way we could wear every hat and be an expert in every space. We have the vision. So essentially, I literally, just like thinking of Noah and his family, it's a collaboration of people that have to come together to see that vision through. God gives you the vision, but you need others in your space to help you execute it.
You do.
And so,
That's a good point.
as me and you talk through your thoughts, it's also helping me process my own.
Yeah.
And I just think in turn, we just feed off one another.
Definitely. Because now, fast forward to months, even a year later,
Jeez,
right?
God.
You have a thriving, right? And
Yeah.
speaking that complete into existence because you're doing the thing. I
Yeah.
mean, building connections, content by Adrianna, etc.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're offering so many services to small business owners and entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And then myself, Pretty Talk just celebrated a year, right? Like, that's
Yes.
crazy to me,
Crazy.
right? Like, and you've been there on the
Yeah.
journey. Oh, moment. You have been there on the journey.
It just made me think of us eating the cake when we were creating your reel.
And I told her, I was like, girl, you gotta eat the cake. And y'all didn't see that piece.
Yeah.
But we shared a piece of the cupcake from my reel because I was like, girl, you have been here. And I really appreciate you. Like, I wouldn't be here. And not just the reel, but it was like, we just shared with them processing the thoughts,
Yeah.
processing the ideas, processing you gotta let that corporate idea go.
Yeah.
So you can step into entrepreneurship, like all that.
Yeah.
And that's the power of collaboration. Right? That's
Yep.
the power of it. And so, you know, when I think about that, I'm like, looking forward and into the future, like, as an entrepreneur, what are your goals and desires and dreams? Like, it's okay to think big, you know?
Oh yeah. I mean, some of the girlies say you got to be Delulu a little bit. For me, let me bring God into it
Mm-hmm.
and clarify that in order to move forward and see things bigger than where you are, all it really takes is recognizing the truth. It's just the truth. You're not being delusional. You're getting back to what God says you are, who you are. I'm about to start crying because it literally, it's a process that's gotten me to this space to understand that. That's what God's been trying to say all along. I'm not having to pretend that I have a big business because I know that that's the vision that God gave, so it's the truth.
It's the truth. It's coming. It's coming.
You know, it's accepting that it is finished.
Yeah.
And that is the work. I wouldn't have the vision if it weren't already finished. You wouldn't have the vision if it weren't already finished.
Yeah.
So moving forward, I feel like for me, we touched on collaboration. That's going to be the biggest focus for me in my business is the collaboration, because I want to, while we've talked about the content creation piece of what I do, it's more than that now. So what I've learned is as I work with more entrepreneurs and create content for them, I recognize that there's a lot of foundational principles that may not have been established, like who's your target client? We need to know this information because like our creation stems from who you're trying to talk to. So that is developing that, which is kind of falls into the category of brand development, is a space that I'm really trying to occupy more, which then takes a hold of like the management aspect of it. So the social media management. I didn't start off offering social media management, but I quickly started to because I recognized one of the biggest pain points of business owners, entrepreneurs, is they don't have time to manage social media. They are working on high-level tasks, bridging relationships, creating sales, the creative powerhouse behind everything you do. You don't have time for that. So it really is going, I mean, I haven't shared this with a ton of people, but I think this is a good space to talk about it. It's like shows again how quickly the vision starts to come alive when you start taking action. I'm moving into a more agency-focused style of business because I want to have ad specialists on my team who know how to create ads that are going to sell for my business owners. I want to have SEO specialists and more other content creators, not just me. In order to scale it and really support a large group of people, I need a team. So that's where looking forward comes into play as far as like collaboration goes. So like continuing to get out into the community, creating and having those relationships with people, and it is happening, you know, and it's really cool to see happen, but it's just, I could talk about this all day because it is my heart, it is my passion, and it is something that I talked with God about. I mean, as you know, I've had a lot of failed, let me take that back, not failed. I've had a lot of attempts at business in different spaces, and I'm so thankful for those experiences because all of them, I could literally look back at every single one of them and be like, okay, I do this now because of that. But with where I'm at now, it was like a moment of prayer I had with God where it was like, what would I do if I had every single thing that I could have imagined, what would I still do? Because I know me, I'm not just going to sit around and be on vacation all year long. You know, like I would want to give back to people. And there's something I feel really just called to business owners. Because I think it just takes a boldness, courage, creativity. It's just so outside of the typical that my heart just feels really alive.
Yeah. So. And business owner to business owner, thank you, right? Because what you're offering us, what you're doing in your business, just as much as you're pouring into us, I hope that our time together, you know, pours into you, like you said earlier, because we all trying to do this thing, you know, out here. And so, you know, for me, I'm excited, looking forward, because like you said, God is giving you the vision. And when God is giving you vision, even as your life shifts and stuff, it's like, okay, God, if you're giving me this, you're not giving me that to say you're not going to bring the other things that I see that's happening in my life. And sometimes I think people get scared because, like, oh, if I do this, I don't have space for this. No, God will give you the space and the grace to navigate the different areas of your life, because his vision is not changing.
You know,
his vision is all encompassing, right? And so for me, it's like, while I'm expectant of the things in my personal life, as far as my career and business, I'm like, I see a team. I see people that would be with me to go out to these places and to help build these relationships in communities that desperately need them, and to build up young people, right? To build up their leaders and their families, right? So that we can see the success that we desire, right? For that they want for themselves and that we want for them. And so I'm super excited about that. And I guess we'll close this segment, right? Saying, you know, what our hope is for entrepreneurs, what our hope is for anyone who's thinking about going into this space.
That's such a good topic or subject to break up, or just an opportunity to speak into other people who might feel called. If I had to say anything, it couldn't really be just one thing, but ultimately trust the vision. I think that throughout my own journey and talking with other entrepreneurs, sometimes life be life, and things can come up to make you this whole, you know, 3D reality, what we see, it's like, oh my gosh, like, am I really on the right path? Like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Because it looks like I'm not. This is crazy. I'm tired. I'm doubting God. I don't know. I think that the earlier you can say, this is what I know, nothing else is gonna really be able to take you off that path, because you know.
You speaking to a whole bunch of stuff. You have no idea what you're speaking to right now, girl.
Bless the Lord.
The no.
If you know it,
exactly. She'd be like, hallelujah, wherever she at. We were literally just talking about that yesterday.
Well, thank you, God.
Thank you, God. Confirmation.
Thank you, God, for confirming it. I think that is exactly it, because I will say, there were so many things. It took me so long. Now I look back and I'm like, now, God, I see why you let this happen. You were building this trust factor over time. And now I'm like, oh, there's nothing nobody could say. There's nothing that I could see that would make me think that this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. I know that I know that I know. And that's it. So I think that that's my advice. If I would just trust that vision.
Trust the vision. And I think I would say, make sure you connect yourself with people, right, who can help you get there. And that doesn't mean you have to disconnect yourself from people who are not headed that way, unless they're just completely, you know, not for you, right? Really that's good. A whole different thing.
Yeah, that's good.
But as far as business, because like for my family, they are integral parts of my life, right? But I don't have entrepreneurs in my family that are evident, right? There's not many of us. I think I know one cousin that is really doing the thing, right? And it's just like, that's hard, because when you don't have people to bounce it off of, you can really feel like you said, I'm crazy. What am I doing? Let me go back and get my job. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Security, hello.
Exactly. Like, come on. So
or
I would
lonely.
say be connected, or lonely. So be connected. And it don't have to be a whole lot of people.
No.
It was Adrianna alone for a long time that was helping me just remind myself, you're doing what you're supposed to do.
Oh, yeah.
It's just going to be a process. So, I hope you all have enjoyed this segment and that you're encouraged. If you are an entrepreneur or thinking about being an entrepreneur, be encouraged, right? Take time to pray. Ask God for complete direction on how to go, who to connect yourself to, because I promise you He will. So thank you for listening to us, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Green light.
Yep, green light is on.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So
Back. Okay.
hello.
Hi.
How y'all doing?
Good.
Good. Y'all
Good.
cute. So cute. Yeah.
Sorry.
They got the mess on that part too.
All right.
Cut.
Cut right here.
Smoker call.
Cue the smoker.
Jesus Christ. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.